Everybody knows how to spell numbers, right? Like, do you guys know how to spell every single number up through 1000? Well, of course everybody can. And if you spell them all in American English, like, let's start from 0. And what letters are in 0? Well, we have Z, E, R, and O. So we have Z right here. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the first appearances of letters in numbers. So these 4 letters are the letters that you'll see earliest in numbers. And of course, this is something that everybody should could understand themselves by just writing down every single number, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9. We already done 0, so we can do the other 1-digit numbers like these. And the first letter that's new that we see in this next one would be N. And then as for 2, we encounter W. And we also encounter T. And in 3, we encounter H. F is the first one we see in 4. And is also the next new one. And you also see U in 4. And as for 5, this is where we see the letter I. And V as well. And I'm just going to jump ahead, so that way you don't have to wait that much longer. Alright guys, I just wrote when these next couple of letters appear for the first time in some numbers. Like, these are the next ones that appear. And apparently we have G for the first time showing up in 8. And L appears for the first time in 11. And Y appears in 20. And X appears in 6. And that's about it. But there is more. The first time you'll see D is in 100. And then if you go further, you take the American spellings of other numbers in between 100 and 999. So 101. There's no new letters here. How about 102? Nothing. How about 103? Nothing. How about we take 544? There's no new letters in 544 either. And this applies for any number up to 1,000. But what if we do take 1,000? Well, there is something new. And this new letter is the letter A. Right here. So that is pretty weird. Like, A is such a common letter, but the first time you see it is in 1,000. So if you wrote down every single number up to 999, like if you wrote every single number up to 3 digits, you're never going to see the letter A at all. Unless we called 1,000 1000, but of course, who's going to call it 1000? Unless you're saying it as a year. Which nobody would do that, but I would. Because I'm very, I'm kind of sensitive about year pronunciations. If you see episode 7 of Math Facts, you'll see my proposal on what year pronunciations should be different. And what if you take the next couple of numbers, like, obviously because if we attach another number, like, any number up through, 999 in the thousands digit, like, 112,000, this is the same, you can just erase this extra 3 zeros and you still have 112 without the 1,000. So, you're just repeating the numbers from 1 to 999 for the thousands digit right here. So what if you go to 1 million? There is a new letter. It's M. So the first time you see the letter M is in 1 million. And then what about 1 billion? Obviously, I'm not going to write every number between 1 million and 999,999,999 for you, because, of course, that would take years, and nobody's ever counted to 1 billion, so I'm just going to take these powers of 10 instead. So in 1 billion, we see a new letter, and that is B. So we can mark B off the list. And then what about these next letters, like C, J, K, P, and Q? Well, those are going to appear soon. Or are they? Well, like, a few of them are not going to appear at all. And I'll tell you what those are in a sec. In 1 trillion, we don't have any new things. But in 1 quadrillion, we do see a new letter. And you guessed it, it's Q. You wouldn't expect to see the letter Q in a number, right? Well, it actually does appear. I couldn't fit it here, I had to squeeze it in like that. But you'll still get an idea of where Q appears in the numbers. But then, what about 1 quintillion? There is no new letters here. But now we take 1 sextillion. Nothing new here. But then 1 septillion is next. And in 1 septillion, we have the letter P. And this next one is the latest appearance of any letter in the common official number names. And that is 1 octillion. And in this case, this is the first time you get to see the letter C. But what about these last two, J and K? Well, we can go further, and we can take the official number names that you'd be able to fit in our universe. Like, let's take 1 nonillion. Nothing new here. What about 1 decillion? Nothing new here. And then next we have 1 undecillion. There's also nothing new here. What about 1 duodecillion? Still nothing new here. We can keep going, but then we take 1 vigintillion. There's also nothing new in this one. And I'm going to write down a few more big numbers, and I'll show you what's wrong with them in a sec. Okay, it's been like 10 minutes. I've written down some more huge numbers that don't even fit in our universe. This one does fit in our universe, though, but it takes up like a fair percentage of it. But these next ones don't even fit at all. And as you can see, I've written down some pretty crazy looking number names and their values right next to them. And this one, 10 to the power of 123, doesn't have any new letters in it. And quinquagentillion doesn't have any new letters either. And neither does sexagentillion, or septuagentillion, or octogentillion, or nonagentillion, or even centillion. And some of these are not really... Some of these are not as famous as some other ones, but they are definitely... You can definitely consider them to be official. And even if you take this huge number, I wrote this huge looking number, which is novem nonagentin nongentillion, which is 10 to the power of 3,000, doesn't contain any new letters. And neither does millillion, which looks a lot smaller, but it is definitely 1,000 times bigger. It's 10 to the power of 3,003. and 10 to the power of 3 billion. 3 is nanillion, and there's no new letters here either. And, if you take any of these, weird and absurd sounding numbers that get more absurd as you go through them, you're not gonna find any sign of the letter J or K. Yeah, literally, there's like no way you can find J or K in official number names. So, I do know for a fact that there are some numbers that people have made that do have J and K in them, but those aren't recognized by the public yet. Once they do start getting recognized by the public, and once they do get more attention, then maybe we will have an official number name that has J or K in it. But for now, that's what we got. Anyway, that's about it that I have to say for these first appearances of letters and numbers.